For now, the first flight from New York to Kenya is expected to land at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport anytime from now. And it is that Deputy President William Ruto is at the airport to receive some of the passengers who are on board. And of course, on your screen, live pictures, we are able to get you the live coverage of that. That is the first flight of KQ from New York to Kenya. Let's listen in.
7878 that has just happened, and Boeing has landed, ushering in a new chapter as well in the history being the first arrival in New York, Kenya. Remember, it was just about like a tour. It was written by the first as well, Dreamliner, which is the same plane we understand and we're meant to believe was flagged off by President Uhuru Kenyatta at New York.
Right, there you have it. The first flight from New York to JKIA just landed a few minutes ago at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And as you can see on your screen, it is that Deputy President William Ruto and officials from the U.S. Were at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to receive the crew of the JKIA flight. And of course, just welcoming some of the passengers who are on board. The flight landed safely at exactly 9:25, and we've managed to capture for you that exciting moment. And some of the people who are the passengers on that flight included the Miss Tourism Kenya 2018. She was among those passengers on that flight. Remember, the flight landed here in Kenya today, but this is after the first inaugural Kenya Air's direct flight from Nairobi to New York. And of course, from the Nairobi to New York, we saw Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary and the ambassador to Kenya, Godek, who are on board who boarded that flight to New York. It is such a huge celebration, not only for the Kenya Airways, the pride of Africa, but also celebration for the entire country at large. It means that our economy is expected to grow when it comes to the transport industry, the airline, and the number of hours has also been reduced from 22 hours to 15 hours. Those are some of the passengers who are on board and alighting from the first flight of KQ from New York to Kenya.
Yes. Well, Boeing 7878, the Dreamliner that carried as well the dreams of this country, as history was made from here at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to JKF Kennedy Airport in New York, has just landed. We're made to believe that this is the same Boeing that carried as well that historic and as we can see now on your screens, the last of tourists have been ushered out of the plane. Earlier on, few minutes ago rather, Deputy President William Ruto ushered this plane here. You'll remember that President Uhuru Kenyatta flagged off this same plane, and we were as well made to believe that in part of the rituals rather, President Uhuru Kenyatta gave the Kenyan flag to be carried along and flown with this particular Boeing. That flag now has been returned, and it is this Deputy President William Ruto who has received. Kenya Airways, of course, opening this new line, has already projected that they will make around 10% increment in its own revenue. It expects more people to use this airline, more people to travel using this route, and what we can see now is dances, moments of joy, moments of welcoming back, to an extent those who left, and welcoming in, to an extent those who are new as well, probably and just probably, to this country. Well, the faces here are of happiness, signaling a somewhat relief as well. Now it has gone, it is back. It will be going, Kenya Airways tells us, and it will be back for this route. The tourism industry as well is eyeing to make a living and a cut out of this. It wants to double the numbers, increase the number of tourists who are visiting Kenya from the United States of America, who otherwise were long dogged in a tiring 21-hour journey. Remember, this direct flight has reduced the number from a tiring 21 hours to what possibly now is 15 hours. And just to add that the journey is more than 15,000 kilometers, slightly above it. Kenya Airways, of course, as well, trying to make a cut out of this, trying to make a name for itself in the region. Remember, it faces a stiff competition from other lines in the region, Ethiopian airline being one of them. Jomo Kenyatta International Airport as well stands now a chance to what they tell us of becoming an aviation air hub. In its attempt, remember, this is a process that started close to 15 years ago. Rejections after rejections, the highest being in 2013 when Kenya's bid to have its last certification was rejected. The country being urged to invest in infrastructure, to invest in the security of this airport. Clearly now, by the going and the landing of this particular flight, signaling a somewhat improvement in terms of the security. This plane, arguably the pride of Africa, arguably as well carrying the hopes of this region to open itself to a better markets, bigger markets, to the United States of America. Remember, Kenya exports horticulture, it exports coffee to the United States of America, perishable goods to which the Ministry of Tourism and as well the Ministry of Transport 2 weeks ago alluded that the tire in 21 hours was depreciating the value of those coffee and the horticulture that was transported from here to the United States. This, of course, reducing the number of hours, the number of as well countries that those goods needed to pass from just a direct point from here at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to the New York. The tourism sector already is projecting a 15% increment in the number of tourists, and if this is anything to judge by, the number of people who came out of this airline, out of this plane today, out of this Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, many seem tourists. Of course, we can't prove that. Remember, Uhuru Kenyatta a fortnight ago flagged off the historic Nairobi-New York direct flight, which was the same Boeing, the same plane we were made to believe. And part of the rituals is that he gave the Kenyan flag to that particular flight, symboling